The Economist gives Democrats a coin flip on the Senate, and Maine just nominated the guy his own party's strategists are briefing Fox News Digital against. If you're just joining, Maine gave Democrats the headline they wanted. Graham Platner is the nominee against Susan Collins after a turbulent primary. The catch is, he heads into the general with documented controversies, private donor anxiety over whether he's viable at all, and a public feud with John Fetterman already bolted onto the race.
This is Senate Pickup Watch. Today, a 50-50 map, a scandal-stained Maine nominee, and whether any of that baggage actually moves a single swing voter. Sarah, you've been warning about this all week.
InvestLoan.com writes,
Maine Democratic Senate candidate Graham Platner's scandal-plagued rise is causing rifts within the Democratic Party, and several Democratic strategists who spoke to Fox News Digital warned of the long-term implications of the party embracing him.
Platner's the nominee. He won the primary outright, scandal, suitcase, and all. And the part that actually matters is who his own party was talking to on the way out the door. Democratic strategists were talking to Fox News Digital about the long-term damage. Not Politico, not MSNBC, Fox. When operatives brief the opposition's flagship outlet, they're laying down cover for when the money walks.
But Sarah, primary voters heard all that and went with him anyway. They picked the guy with the controversies because to them, the alternative looked like giving up the seat. That's a new level of tolerance, and it tells you how badly Democratic voters want to pick up.
The nominee fight is over. Now it's the general election liability. Democrats openly fighting over his baggage before a single Collins ad has run.
And I'd flip the whole baggage question. Gideon had clean optics in 2020 and still lost independence to Collins by 9. If a clean challenger couldn't crack Collins's floor, why assume a messy one does? Her number's been durable no matter who Democrats put up. Susan Collins has survived brutal races before, and Democrats just nominated a guy dragging a suitcase of controversy. So how do we tell whether Maine voters actually care in November, or whether this is just noise that burns off by Labor Day?
It's genuinely hard, but the signals aren't all vibes. Before the primary, a Collins-aligned Pine Tree Results Pack poll from Tony Fabrizio, Trump's pollster, had Platner and Collins tied at 46 apiece per Newsweek. And that was while the controversies were still in the news cycle. If he's tied during the worst week, that may be his floor. Then look at turnout. The Bangor Daily News reported strong Democratic primary numbers, the kind Republicans are actually worried about for November. The warning sign is inside the Democratic vote. Perry Bacon at the New Republic noted that about 20% of Maine Democrats still backed Janet Mills even after she'd suspended her campaign. That's a real no-confidence block for Platner. And the material Collins can use is all on the record. Racy texts early in his marriage, social media posts, and what Ed Kilgore at New York Magazine called a Nazi-adjacent tattoo from his military period. Do those things move swing voters? We don't know yet. Nate Silver has also pointed out that recent Maine polls have specifically underrated Susan Collins, so even a tie comes with a giant asterisk.
So if that 20% primary defection number is real, can Platner win those Democrats back? Or is that the group most likely to stay home or cross over to Collins?
That's the split to watch. Andrew Prokop at Vox put the Platner nomination pretty plainly. It's a huge opportunity for the left and a real risk. The optimistic case is that a nationalized midterm in an environment favorable to Democrats can cover up some candidate-level weaknesses. The scary case is Collins. She's already shown she can hang on to soft Republicans and independents in tough cycles. So watch the first independent general election polls out of Maine after the primary. If that Democratic defection number shrinks, the baggage may be fading. If it holds, he's got a real problem. This one's from The Economist.
Although Donald Trump will not appear on the ballot, America's 2026 congressional elections will be seen as a countrywide referendum on his second presidency. Which party controls Congress will also shape the final 2 years of the Trump era. To forecast the outcome, We built a prediction model that conducts 25,001 simulations of every race based on the latest primaries, polls, fundraising data, and more.
1 in 2. The Economist just put a number on the week we've been arguing by instinct. 25,001 simulations, built on polls, fundraising, primary results, and it still lands on a coin flip.
A coin flip feels generous to a party whose own strategists are briefing Fox News Digital against the nominee we just talked about.
Here's my problem with the 50-50, though. If that model is feeding off polls in low-density red states, it's flattering every incumbent in the field. So is the chamber really a coin flip, or are the inputs soft?
And the model says control comes down to a handful of competitive seats. Right now, Democrats' candidate pipeline is finding ways to make that handful even smaller.
If Senate Pickup Watch helps you follow the map, take a moment to subscribe or leave a review wherever you're listening. It really helps other people find the show. If you want to spend more time with any of today's stories, we've put all the links in the show notes. Take a look when you have a minute. That's Senate Pickup Watch for today. This is a Lantern podcast.